flat land like a man on the run, riding down Highway 61. Sides of the roads all lined with fields, nothing but sunset in the windshield. Feel it as soon as I ride into town. This is where I go to slow down. Miles and miles of soybeans and corn. I'm in the place where the blues was born. About a mile from the big muddy river, place I'll always remember. Cabin on the lake and a fishing pole. Forever here I'll rest my soul. I can feel my worries drift away from being out in the sun all day. No matter where in the world I go, I'll always find home on the banks of that oxbow.
Hey guys, Todd Huckabee here. Got my buddy Brad Chappell. It's gonna be a pretty special episode for me. Got these jokers from my home state.
Rednecks?
Oh yeah, these rednecks. I've known y'all for what now? 18 years or something?
Yeah.
That's about right.
They started out as clients of mine, and of course back then we was using the beaver tail, and now how long are we in this for?
Well, we started this adventure back in 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Redneck Rubber was a vision,
Yep.
and we've grown it into something pretty phenomenal. I can't say enough about, a company that is family owned. You're making stuff in-house now, and it's all made there in Owasso, Oklahoma.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's pretty awesome. We're going to talk about some new products and stuff, but I want to introduce this guy. Who's kind of responsible for everything. And tell us a little bit.
Well, my name's Junior Holson. This is my oldest son, my second son, Steve. And we started this just as a trip with Todd and using the beaver tail. They quit making them. We went and bought everything that we could buy, run out of them, and we decided, well, we might as well do it ourselves.
Yep, they called me and they said, hey, where can we find some more of these? And I said, we can't. And they said, well, we're going to have to make them then.
Yep.
So it grew from that, literally grew from that, and it's been interesting to say the least. Goods and bads, but mostly good. Wouldn't trade the experience for nothing, and to be with my boys, be with Todd, is they can't hang a price tag on that.
And it's got to make you kind of proud that you've got 7 teams in the top 50 fishing today. One of them leading.
Absolutely.
Got 3 top 10s right now, and who would have thought a few years ago that we'd be where we're at?
Absolutely. I can't say enough about the pro staff. They're absolutely phenomenal. They work with us. They give us their ideas. They tell us all of their data that they got, and with all of that, we all of us, no one person, that's what I love about it, no one person makes the decisions. It is a group decision that we all do, and we brainstorm, as Todd has been before, if you notice the names on our baits.
I love names.
The names on the baits.
You should see the ones that didn't make the cut.
The ones that don't make them are probably the better ones, But we can't mention them on air either. But we literally started off sitting around the dining room table, bagging baits ourselves, me, the boys, their wives, their kids, literally all family. Awesome. And when we'd come up with a new bait, we'd all have a little incentive drink and adult beverages. And the more we had adult beverages, the better the names got.
Right.
So
to a tipping point, and then after that, it started getting weird.
What is your favorite bait name? You gotta have a favorite. Everybody does.
There's so many of them, and all of them are so awesome, that because every one of them kind of tells a story.
Yeah.
Every name, there's something behind that to kind of do it. And one of them is the Ashdown Smackdown that comes to mind right off.
What's the story with that one?
Well, we went to Millwood in Ashdown, Arkansas, and went with Todd. And first time we'd ever been there, and we're from Oklahoma. So, Oklahoma, I tell this story that when we go to fishing in Oklahoma, we go and hopefully can catch a 2-pounder. That's our goal, to go catch a 2-pounder. But when you go to Millwood, we're going to go catch a 3-pounder there because you're going to catch 2-pounders.
Right.
So, one of the first times we went down there, we had that bait, and we literally killed them. We smoked them on that dude. I wish I could remember the numbers of the fish because we have pictures of them all laid out on the sidewalk there at where we were all staying. And I just don't remember the numbers for sure, but we said we got to name that bait Ashdown Smackdown. There ain't no way out of it.
That's what I love about crappie fishing.
And so that's where that comes from. And every bait has some kind of a story with it, That's what's so good about it.
Yeah. Like the Truman Tornado.
Yes, Truman Tornado, another one.
One of the best Truman fishermen there is, Barry, said, "Hey, we've got to have a June bug with a chartreuse tail because I need it on Truman," and it became the Truman Tornado. And what's amazing about that name and that bait is that I still get messages, I'm sure, just like y'all do, once a month or something, of guys that were like, "Man, I bought that bait and went to Truman and tore them up."
It worked. That's right.
Yeah, Barry Morrow, he's a good guy. Good guy.
Hey, Chris, I'm gonna put you back on the spot with this whole name.
Yeah.
Tell me one.
Oh my goodness. So we're all adults here, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Absolutely. So probably my favorite.
We might have to bleep this, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we can always edit it out, right? Probably my favorite is the silver and the chartreuse. And it's affectionately named STD. And it's what it truly stands for is Silver Tongue Devil. That's what it truly stands for.
Right, but nobody calls it that.
No.
It's the STD.
That's right. And so that one is my favorite. It's such a phenomenal bait. Man, the spark in it is just so special. But we're
special
sitting.
STD.
Yes, it keeps. It's something that that's going to hang around. You know what I mean? And so that's probably my favorite, Brad, is STD. But man, it's so fun. It's incredible. Just incredible the amount of time that we've spent together building this thing. It came from like Todd said, it came from a vision. When we couldn't find that bait, we said there ain't no way we're gonna be able to
keep
live
doing
without it. Can't live without it.
Well, the number one bait that y'all was looking for that started this whole thing is affectionately called monkey butt.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And anybody who ever read an article over the last 20 years would see me with a black and pink with a chartreuse head. And I always wanted to name that bait monkey butt because it looks like a baboon butt. It's big black with
So that is
red
Todd's
tail.
child there.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly right.
And so that's probably got to be my favorite name.
Yeah. It's number 101 in our catalog.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm sure it's still right at the top of the number one seller, too.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a great muddy water color.
How many colors you got out?
We're right at, we have 29 officially. So
We might need to get a crappie connection color going then.
that'd be all right. That'd be all right. Round it out to 30.
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be just fine.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what's sitting on the table here. We've been talking about it for a couple of years, and it's finally came, and everybody at home, I've showed it to a few clients who have totally geeked out over it, and that is now we have got the small version. Okay, it's going to be huge game changer for us. We've all of us guys that fish the bait know that there's times where we're having to cut the bait down a little bit. Now with the technology that we have, sometimes we can see they want this big bait, and sometimes that big bait scares them. Well, now we've got it on a Raptor jig head here, which is actually weedless, but now we've got it covered.
What's going to be the name of it, Todd?
I think we're still trying to nail that out. You know, it might be we get back to the house and have a couple incentives.
Get back around the table.
Yeah, and
Another round?
Hey, you guys are invited if you want to come and help.
We'll be there.
me.
You know the Crappie Connection guys will be there.
I think we should name it Saturday night
Wow.
when we got all the pro staff guys together.
Wow.
That's right.
That'd be a good idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, I like it.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. You're welcome to come.
We'll be there. You know
It's
that.
so new, it don't got a name.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well,
Yep.
hopefully when we air this, I'm sure we'll have a name then. We'll put it out there.
Yeah,
And
that'd be good.
So in between now and then, you'll be able to say that the name was born from the start of the Crappie Connection episode
There you
to
go.
when it's aired.
We'll hook that up somehow. We'll put that in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good plan.
On the jig head side of things, tell us a little bit about your jig heads.
Well, so the jig heads, you know, the first thing is we use everything we make, right? It the mother of invention is necessity, and so, you know, we have our stroller. That's the minnow head. It has a 2/0 hook in it, and it was our first jig head that we came out with.
Yeah.
And it's done really, really well. But, you know, 5-6 years ago, we were primarily strollers, 2 polars. We were pushing, and we were covering a ton of water, you know, just like you showed us how to do. And you know, and as LiveScope has come into the mix, it's kind of there's times that it's a very specific game.
Yep.
And so we said we need something. We need an offering for that time when that's very specific. So the Raptor came to be. The Raptor is specifically named the Raptor. You know, I'm still a geek on this stuff. I still love it.
I know.
And you know, Todd, I've heard Todd say a couple different times, and that's just me hearing it, but you know, as these fish transition, as they become giants, they learn that their really only threat is from above. And so that's why that jig is called the Raptor.
I did not know that.
You know, and so because we're seeing them out there, well, as we know, we got to approach them from above. So that's why we're out there picking them off. But it's you know, it's an aspirin head. It we offer them in 16ths and 8ths. The 16ths have a number 1 hook in it, and the 8ths have a 1/0 hook in it. And and these Raptors are perfectly tuned for the new bait.
You know, and the big deal with me is the hook. You know, this is a heavier gauge than our previous jig heads that we still make, and they're still great.
Yep.
And there are times where you need that lighter wire. When it's a light bite or you're fishing a minnow on it or something, you need that lighter wire. But, you know, by having this big, heavy steelhead hook in there, you remember it was 2 years ago whenever I was going out to western Oklahoma, and I was calling you, and I was like, dude, we gotta make a heavier hook, because I'm bending hooks on fish, which is kind of tough for people to understand. But as we're using stiffer rods and heavier line, we're putting a lot more pressure on the hook than we were before, because before we had line that stretched, we had rods that bent, which absorbed some of the shock. And so that's why now you're seeing a lot of these heavy gauge hooks that are coming into effect, because, you know, if you were to try to set this heavy of a hook with light line and a lighter action rod, you'd have a hard time penetrating that. But as everybody's beefing up the rod and the line, now you can get away with it and you won't bend hooks.
Exactly.
And that's what the addition of LiveScope has done. You know,
Oh,
LiveScope has started all of that. You know, you have longer poles to get out there further. And then when you set the hook on a 16-foot pole, that much torque out there on a 3-pound fish. It's a lot of torque, a lot more than what we used to do.
Right, and also before any of your forward-facing live sonar, if you missed a fish that just absolutely hammered it, or you set the hook on a fish and he bent your hook out, way back then we'd be like, oh, that was a big drum. It was a big catfish.
Yeah.
Now that we're looking at it, we're like, that was a 3-pound crappie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've got to beef it up because you know without a doubt I just missed the fish of a lifetime maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want to fail is a hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so disgusting too.
Oh, I know. Yep.
But it's it's like I said, it's just so much conversation, so much research, so much development. It just takes a little bit of time, but when we bring them, they're gonna be right.
Junior, I want to ask you, go back to the beginning. I know you've been around a lot of crappie fishing through the years. How much has it changed in your mind and in your eyes through the years?
Oh,
from
tremendous.
the beginning.
Tremendous. I grew up in southeastern Oklahoma where we didn't necessarily have boats, but then when I did have my first boat, these guys were little. I mean, little fellas. We'd go fishing. I'd get me a bucket of minnows, We'd go out to the lake and I'd find me a stump or something to tie up to. And here we go dropping minnows sitting right there. And then when it kind of slowed down, I'd go find me another stump.
Yeah.
These boys would fall asleep at the bottom of the boat.
Right.
So they grew up just absolutely crappie fishing. And to look at it now with all the technology, all the live scoping, the sonars, the down scanning, the side scanning, and just on and on and on, compared to me getting a bucket of minnows and sitting down.
Some of my fondest memories as a child was crappie fishing.
Yeah.
Sitting there tied up to a stump and watching a bobber all day. And,
Yes.
it just goes back, and that's how deep this sport really has. It
Well,
goes back generations.
And these boys have brought me along,
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the boys, I'd probably still be sitting there on
Well,
the
if it
stump
wasn't for
with
you,
a
they
bucket
probably
of
we
minnows.
wouldn't have Redneck Rubber right now either. So,
Well,
Do you ever miss the old way?
Todd, there is times to where it's nice just to, you'd think about just go out there and tie up to a stump, have you a nice chest full of beer, and just sit there with a friend or with your boys and just talk and reminisce, drink a beer, and catch what you catch. There's something to be said for that, but the competitor in me, that ain't not very often that happens.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
well, we definitely appreciate you guys. You've been with the Crappie Connection since the beginning and supporting us, and we can't thank you guys enough for being along with us with this journey. And man, I can't wait to get me some STDs and
Yes.
go out there on the lake a little bit. And,
Yeah.
No, thank you, Brad. We appreciate it. Really appreciate the opportunity to
Oh,
the
man.
partnership with the Crappie Connection, and really looking forward to continuing that relationship.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a fun ride.
Thanks.
It has been.
Hey, the ride ain't over though.
Oh, I know.
No.
It's just getting started.
We meet new people every day, and that's all this life journey's all about.
Absolutely.
When you get to the end, can't take nothing with you. So let's enjoy it while we can.
Absolutely. Hey, that's a good note. Take somebody fishing that hadn't been out there before,
Yes.
especially crappie fishing.
Yes.
We want to let everybody experience what we love.
Yeah.
So if you got a buddy that hadn't been crappie fishing yet, hey, take them out there, especially children.
Steve, you'll meet Steve here in a little bit, but Steve, he's a big-hearted guy. He always throwing in a fishing trip for a fundraiser for somebody, Anybody want to do a fundraiser, he throws in a free fishing trip and takes them, and sometimes they're women and girls and that's never been before. And they just have a great time. Nothing like there's something about when you catch a crappie and you pull that thing in the boat. There's something about it. It's just amazing, People do silly stuff catching a 2-pound crappie, dancing and hooping and hollering. And,
Dancing.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Till next time, guys. Brad Chappell here.
Todd Huckabee.
Junior Holson.
Chris Holson.
Holla.
About a mile from Big Muddy River, a place I'll always remember. Cabin on the lake and a fishing pole. Forever here I'll rest my soul. I can